Well, big profits by Qantas and other major companies are being blamed for driving up inflation, adding to the cost of living pressures on all Australians.
The ACTU wants action and says we wouldn't have been in a bad situation if companies hadn't pumped up prices over the past 18 months. And the ACTU National Secretary Sally McManus joins us now from Sydney. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
The Australia Institute study shows that there's evidence in its view not of a wage price spiral but a profit price spiral. It points out that based on its studies, 70% of the inflation above the RBA's 2 to 3% target band is due to profits. What do you make of that?
Well, I reckon it's shocking. I mean, I think your average Aussie already knows it, that companies are putting up prices more than they need to. And what that's doing is driving profits and, of course, driving cost of living pressures. One of the most shocking stats that those economists showed was that the average inflation since the pandemic's been 5.2%. If it were not for those excessive profits, it would be 2.7%. Now, that's within the RBA's, target, and they wouldn't have needed to put up interest rates as they have. So we're just calling on companies to moderate their profit expectations, to cut their prices, and also calling on the RBA to stop their interest rate rises.
I'll talk about interest rates in just a moment. Do you think it's time, though, for a bit of a change of language from the RBA? It's still talking about the dangers of a wage price spiral. We saw real wages fall by that record amount this week.
Yeah, look, wages are going back, real wages, by 4.5%. That's the biggest in recorded history. It's absolutely crushing for workers. The whole wage price spiral thing was always a fantasy from the 1970s. It was never going to happen, and it hasn't happened. The RBA keeps getting this wrong all the time. Instead, what we're seeing actually is a greed price spiral. That's what's happening. This inflation has been driven not just by overseas supply issues. It's been driven by excess profits. It's about time that got called out. Why isn't the RBA, calling out companies and asking them to stop, putting up prices way more than they need to?
OK, and on interest rates, it's clear based on the language from the Governor that there are more rises, plural, on the way. Would you like the board to reconsider that?
Absolutely, we want the board to reconsider that. We want them to stop putting up interest rates. Their projections on wages have been wrong. They've been wrong all along. They continue to be wrong. Wages are not driving inflation, and they are, going backwards. Average Australians are absolutely having their living standards crushed at the moment. We're back really to where we were 10 years ago. All the gains that we made have been wiped out. We're feeling it not just from the RBA but from those price pressures. Putting up interest rates is just going to drive people over the edge, and it's not fair, it's not right, it's not good for the economy that they are doing this.
We do know the Governor Philip Lowe's been under a lot of pressure over the rate rises, but also attention's been focused on the RBA board. Sally McManus, it has RBA officials, the Treasury Secretary, former blue chip company CEOs, professional directors. Do you think it's time to open up the board to a greater diversity of views?
I think you've got to make sure that you've got a board that understands what's happening at all levels of the economy, not just in boardrooms, and that's a problem at the moment. There's no one on that board that actually understands how wages work in this country, and that's why they keep getting it so wrong all the time. There's no one there who's actually really in touch with what's happening on the ground. And that means that they've just got blind spots, and those blind spots, unfortunately, are leading to decisions that have shown to be, not correct decisions or based on assumptions that haven't been right.
OK, finally, Qantas. Now, I know you and Alan Joyce have butted heads for a long time. The company announced the hefty $1 billion plus profit for the half year yesterday. Is it good, though, that a major company, and as you know, Sally McManus, a major employer, is in good financial health for the general benefit of the economy?
Well, I mean, Qantas illegally outsourced, over 1,000 workers, and those workers without jobs, and what in the end, I mean, customers are also the ones that suffer. So it's been workers and customers that have been the ones that have suffered to deliver those profits. So, if people are also, if Australians are also getting, good quality jobs, and they're getting the airline that we used to have, well, you'd say, well, fantastic, we're seeing profits as well. But when we're not seeing that, I think your average Australian, looks at that and they feel pretty disgusted, actually.
Sally McManus, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.